Hello and welcome to this episode of Have You Seen Today. As it's Christmas time and she's just got me a new jumper from Ghoul Cemetery, I thought I'd like to talk about things evil. Nothing to do with her. I'll leave the links down below for you to pick one up if you're interested in getting one of these Evil Dead jumpers. As you've already figured out because of the jumper, we're diving deep into the history of the most iconic and influential horror movie franchises of all time. The Evil Dead. Yeah, if you've not seen Evil Dead, good. I'm going to tell you about them, so spoilers ahead. Right, grab your chainsaw, grab your shotgun, because things are about to get
groovy.
In 1981, before even my older brother was born, a young and upcoming filmmaker by the name of Sam Raimi unleashed a low-budget horror film that would go on to redefine the genre. Yeah. You've all heard of Sam Raimi, the man behind the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. Probably the best Spider-Man movies, mate. Well, apart from 3.
Swallow this.
The Evil Dead introduces us to the world of cabin fever, demonic possession, and a chainsaw-wielding hero named Ash. You've all heard of Ash. The story follows a group of 5 friends who travel to a remote cabin in the woods for a vacation. I mean, there's your problem to begin with. Cabin, woods, there's always something evil in the woods. And, well, they discover the Necronomicon. I probably pronounced that completely wrong. So we're going to just call it the Book of the Dead. Because that's a lot easier. Well, by reading from this, the book unwittingly unleashes demonic forces. The evil spirits possess and torment the group, leading to a nightmare battle for survival. Sounds fun. Raimi, with his innovative filmmaking techniques, including shaky cam, which was later renamed Raimi Cam, to create a intense viewing experience. It's weird. The film's practical effects, especially the makeup and stop motion animation, were groundbreaking for its time. I mean, it was 1981. Anything they did was groundbreaking. Despite its initial mixed critical reception, The Evil Dead developed a dedicated fan base and became a cult classic. Bruce Campbell, who played Ash, the film's reluctant hero, earned him recognition as a genre icon. No surprise.
What are you, crazy?
Though with all that, The Evil Dead faced censorship issues here in the UK. With its initial release in 1981, the film became one of the notorious video nasties. The term video nasties refers to a list of films that were heavily criticised for their violent and graphic content during the early 80s. So, a lot of films were banned. The Evil Dead was eventually released in the UK with heavy cuts, and that was to comply with the censorship requirements. Obviously, if you want a film released, you've got to do the cuts. These cuts were made to reduce the impact of violent and gory scenes. So basically the groovy parts, as Ash would say, were cut. Over the years, the BBFC have loosened their grip on home entertainment here in the UK, and films are mostly passed uncut. It obviously depends on what they're going for. If they're going for a 15, not so much. I don't think until June 2011, with The Human Centipede, did a mainstream film get banned, but then that was passed after 2 minutes of cuts. With the success of the first film, this paved the way for the sequel 1987, the shockingly titled Evil Dead 2. This time, Sam Raimi blended horror with slapstick comedy, giving a unique and unforgettable experience. It's very unique. Evil Dead 2 picks up pretty much directly from where the first film left off, and offers a different version of events. So it's basically a remake of Evil Dead, only this time the sequel is part horror, part slapstick comedy, and it skillfully blends the two genres together. The film is renowned for its increased use of humour, with Campbell's physical comedy taking centre stage in this one. Bruce Campbell's portrayal of Ash reached new heights, solidifying him as a cult icon. Even though he already was, he's more to it. The horror elements, however, were not sacrificed, and Evil Dead is celebrated for its creativity and gruesome special effects. It's very gory. The sequel introduced iconic elements like the possessed hand, which forces Ash to cut it off with a chainsaw, leading to the character's signature weapon. He's got a chainsaw on his stub. The film's manic energy and combined with Raimi's directional style contributed to its lasting impact. It is definitely a cult classic. Similar to the first film, Evil Dead 2 initially received mixed reviews, but has since gone on to be classed as cult, like I just said.
Are you listening to me? Do you hear what I'm saying?
It is often considered one of the best horror comedies and a key entry into horror genre, up there with American Werewolf in London and, say, Scream. As I prefer comedies to horror, I do prefer part 2. Who doesn't enjoy a good laugh? If you're enjoying this little talk about the Evil Dead series, why not subscribe for more? And as you're there, maybe hit the like button so that the robots know that you're enjoying yourself, learning more about Evil Dead. The trilogy concludes with Army of Darkness in 1992, taking Ash back in time to face an army of the dead. This installment leaned heavily into fantasy genre and further solidified the franchise's reputation of over-the-top action comedy.
You know your shoelace is untied.
The film picks up where Evil Dead 2 left off, with Ash being transported back in time to the medieval era. Ash finds himself in the midst of a conflict between two warring parties. Initially, he's captured and regarded as a spy. Ash soon is then recognised as a chosen one and sets out to retrieve the Book of the Dead.
If I get that book, you send me back. After that, I'm history.
Ash has a mission to get the Book of the Dead, return to his own time. That's basically the story. However, it being a comedy, and that was near the start of the film, Ash misspeaks the magical spell, raising the army of dead and the Deadites, led by Evil Ash. None other than Evil Ash. Think of Ash, but evil.
Oh, you miserable bags of bones! Pick yourselves up and sally forth!
Like its predecessor, Army of Darkness blends horror with slapstick comedy. The film is known for its over-the-top action sequences, and Bruce Campbell's performance as Ash in this is really over-the-top and pretty funny.
See this? This is my boomstick! It's a 12-gauge double-barreled Remington.
Now, in the early 2000s, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell began talking about a remake. They wanted to introduce the story to a new generation of fans and use modern filmmaking techniques while maintaining the core elements that made the original film a cult classic.
No, why are you saying these things?
Fede Alvarez, I've probably said his name wrong, a young Uruguayan filmmaker, caught the attention of Sam Raimi with his creative and visually impressive work. Raimi saw potential in Alvarez as a director for the Evil Dead remake. After a while, Alvarez was brought on to help write and direct the remake. The decision was made to go more serious and intense tone compared to the horror comedy style of the original trilogy. Basically, go scary.
Shit, man. What the fuck happened here?
Let's not go crazy over this.
Alvarez aims to use practical effects whenever possible and capture the intense horror of the original film, which is nice. The filmmakers were committed to creating visually striking and terrifying experiences for the audience. Very gory. Evil Dead premiered at South by Southwest Film Festival in 2013, generating a lot of buzz and anticipation. Upon its wider release, the film received generally positive reviews for its intense horror, practical effects, and how it kept to the source material. In 2015, a fourth Evil Dead movie was officially in the works. This would have been a direct sequel to Army of Darkness called Ash vs. Evil Dead. But due to there being so much material, Sam Raimi and others decided to turn it into a TV series instead. If the first series was going to be a movie, it was going to be about 5 hours long. The TV show starts 30 years after the events of Evil Dead trilogy, so ignoring the remake. Ash is a loner living a dull life and not able to come to terms with what happens at the cabin. In the events of a Deadite invasion, Ash must attach his chainsaw and pick up his trusty boomstick. one more time. I enjoyed the first season, but I never actually got around to seeing the other seasons as it was kind of hard to come by here in the UK. I'm sure somewhere I could find it, but it hasn't appealed to me as much. I do believe there's a Blu-ray as well. I could probably get the Blu-ray. Next, now that brings us up to this year, 2023. Over 40 years of dead evil things. Evil Dead Rise. Carrying on its intense style from the 2013 Evil Dead Rise moves the action out of the woods and into the city. It is about two estranged sisters whose reunion is kind of cut short when one of their sons decides to go snooping after a earthquake and comes across the Book of the Dead. He also finds records which have translated the book for him, which is nice. It's the same old story, really. So the idiot plays the records, and his mum is possessed. But I think the voice on the records is Bruce Campbell. Write in the comment section down below if that is true. I'm not sure. So the demons come along and possess his mum, and they have to spend the rest of the night defending themselves from her and others she's turned.
Don't let her take my babies.
It's very gory and some parts are quite intense. I think it's an okay sequel, not as good as a 2013 remake, but it's definitely a good fit in the Evil Dead franchise. If you haven't seen Evil Dead Rise, check it out. Now, here is what you actually wanted to know, my top 6 and what order I would have them. So, at 6, Army of Darkness. It's just a little bit too silly. I do enjoy it, but the film is just over the top. I definitely like the UK ending. Slept too long. At 5, I'd have Evil Dead Rise, the newest in the bunch, and something about it just didn't sit right for me, and I think it needed to be a bit longer, and at points I couldn't really see much. It was a bit too dark. At 4, Ash versus Evil Dead. Yes, I've only seen the first season. I did enjoy seeing Ash again with his one-liners, and they kept the gore and the horror at a good level. At 3, Evil Dead, the original. It was a bit too dated for me now. Unbelievable for its time and scary. Definitely scary for its time, but not so much anymore. At 2 is the Evil Dead remake, 2013 version. It was brilliant how it honoured the original and it went over the top with the gore. It's just brilliant. I mean, look at my jumper. We can't really see it. Again, available down below. It was scary and intense and a very, very good remake. If you'd like to see the other one, do a reaction to the Evil Dead 2013 as she's never seen it, leave a like and comment, and while you're there might as well subscribe because we'll get her to do that. She has also decided to face her fears of the Nun from the Conjuring series and watch the Nun and then maybe the Nun 2, so subscribe so you don't miss them. I mean, that'll be a good time and a good laugh. At number 1 is the comedy horror Evil Dead 2. Well, it's obvious, it was the last one on the list. It's ridiculously gory and hilarious. It's a bit dated now, but Bruce Campbell definitely at his best. Something you should check out. If you've not seen any of the Evil Dead films, I hope this has helped you decide to give them a chance. I mean, it's Christmas after all. Might as well give something new a try. Yeah. Right. That is it. That's been a little talk about the Evil Dead franchise. Don't forget to subscribe and comment down below what your favourite Evil Dead film is. And until next time, but she'll be back probably, I will see you later. Thank you for watching this episode. You can check out our other videos around my face. And don't forget to subscribe.